In the journey of exploring this ever-changing life, we realize that there are moments when people feel as if everything has been lost, as if there is no escape from endless troubles, as if the darkness lasts forever and faith is only a fragile ray of hope. But in those moments, the psalm that we are studying brings us the message of perseverance and renewal, like the invitation of the Creator to rise up, to trust that the storm has passed, and that each new morning is a new beginning. The words of the psalm do not only stop at praises, but also emphasize that faith is the invisible strength that holds a person steady in the midst of chaos, as taught by the prophets in the Bible, when they stress that no matter how much war, disease, or trial there is, it is faith that has wrought miracles, such as the salvation of the people of Israel through perilous times, or the promise of God that His faithfulness will never fade. When we look back at history, there are countless testimonies of faith that have recorded that it is faith itself that helped them stand firm amid the storms, from the song of Martin Luther King Jr. when he stood up for human rights, to the prayers in the midst of the storm of war and natural disasters, of people who, though they lost everything, never gave up faith in restoration and renewal. These stories are evidenced through the praises of the apostles, of those who have been in prison or faced death, but by their steadfast faith created miracles, opening the way of escape for the whole community. And modern science has also found that people who have faith and practice spirituality tend to cope better with both emotional and physical challenges. As studies published in the Journal of the American Medical Association show that practicing prayer or meditation helps reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance resilience in the face of life's challenges. Perhaps, in the treasury of the teachings of the Bible, we see that faith is not only an abstract concept, but is a sacred flame capable of lighting the path for those who believe in restoration, helping the weary heart rediscover joy after the rains. King David, who composed this psalm in the darkest hours of his life, was not surrounded by wealth or comfort, but it was only after the storms of tragedy, suffering, and loss that he found the sacred inspiration from the Creator. The image of David standing amid the storm, when tears mixed with falling rain, yet the light of dawn emerged like God's promise, always bringing restoration and renewed faith in a new day. Through each verse, this psalm is like a declaration that no matter how long the night is, the dawn always brings joy, and the wounds of the soul can be healed through steadfast faith in the presence of the Almighty. In each person's life, there are perhaps many times when we feel as if everything is slipping away, as if dreams are being extinguished under the pressure of harsh reality. There are moments when we feel as if our faith has faded, as if the light of hope has dimmed, and we fall into despair, wondering if there is any escape for this precarious life. But it is precisely in those moments that the teaching of the psalm resounds like a call from heaven, reminding us that every difficulty is only a test on the path to restoration, that faith is the bridge between pain and joy, between loss and rebirth. As the Chronicles record, faith is the invisible thread that binds weak hearts with the power of God, allowing them to overcome all hardships and regain belief in the future. This is evidenced by a multitude of miracles and stories of restoration after natural disasters, wars, and personal pain. Perhaps we not only hear the promises of restoration in the psalm, but also feel the power of gratitude, of praising and exalting the Creator, even in moments of deadlock. When we are grateful for the little things that life bestows, when we exalt the wonders that each day brings, then our souls will gradually be lightened, ignited by a new hope. Psychological studies show that practicing gratitude daily can broaden the mind, soothe emotional storms, and help us see the good that already exists in life. This is also similar to the teachings of the Psalm, when David expressed his gratitude and praise to God even when he was facing immense suffering, showing that even in pain one can find a new source of life from faith. Along with gratitude, the act of praising and exalting God is also seen as the key that opens magical doors. Praise is not only the songs that echo in the dark night, but also the affirmation of the soul that, no matter how difficult life becomes, the greatness of God is always present beside us. The stories in the book of Acts of the Apostles record that even in the darkest moments, when Paul and Silas were imprisoned in cold, dark cells, they did not forget to praise God, and it was that very psalm that opened the door to their liberation, attesting to the miraculous power of praise. Moreover, scientific studies show that music and spiritual songs can stimulate areas of the brain related to positive emotions, helping people feel light and full of life energy. Thereby, we further believe that in difficult times, praise is not only a means to relieve stress, but also a strength to open the way to miracles in life. In that context, the psalm we are exploring is not merely a text or a prayer, but is a sacred message of restoration, of turning harsh pain into the impetus for rebirth and progress. David, when writing these verses, was not always enveloped by peace, but it was only after battles with pain, after nights filled with tears, that he found strength from faith, from the belief that every morning always brings a new beginning. His words are like a reminder that no matter how much we lose, no matter if the storms of life sweep everything away, as long as we hold on to our faith, God will always be beside us, ready to soothe, heal, and guide us through all hardships. The stories of those who have overcome adversity to regain life, from survivors of natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina to those who have faced the pain of war, all show that faith is never broken, but is always the flame that warms the heart in the darkest nights. Many years after those horrific disasters, many have recounted that it was faith that helped them find the strength to rebuild their lives from the rubble, to turn pain into a lesson of perseverance and gratitude. That is a living testimony to the message of the psalm, that pain is only temporary, and that restoration always comes to those who never give up their faith. In the journey of overcoming challenges, every person must realize that restoration does not come from ignoring difficulties, but from facing them, learning from each wound, and then turning them into inner strength. When we allow ourselves to fully feel the pain, we also open our hearts to receive the goodness that life brings. Just like the words of the psalm, when David declares that the night may be long, but the dawn always brings joy, we too must believe that every suffering has an end, and that after every long night there is a new day filled with light. In those very stories of restoration, one can see a common thread. Faith and gratitude not only help people overcome difficulties, but also create miracles, the unimaginable things that modern science cannot fully explain. Many studies have shown that people who practice prayer and meditation generally have lower levels of anxiety, feel more at ease, and have greater resilience after severe psychological shocks. This further confirms that within every person there exists a sacred source of energy, an inner strength that can help us transform pain into a precious lesson. Faith is also the bridge that connects people with God, the channel through which comfort and strength flow from heaven, as evidenced by the prophecies from ancient sacred texts. When we pray, when we open our hearts to share our feelings with the Almighty, we are not merely placing our trust, but also creating a deep connection between our soul and heaven, where every support, every miracle can occur. As King David said, "When I fell, he lifted me up." That is the affirmation that no matter how dark the times we experience, as long as we trust, as long as we open our hearts, the light of God will always illuminate the path, helping us regain the lost faith. And in that journey, expressing gratitude, praising, and exalting God is not only a ritual, but also a way for us to affirm our faith, to prove that no matter how many challenges life may bring, we always believe that the night may be long, but the dawn always comes. The songs, the praises passed down through generations, from the time of the apostles to those who survived natural disasters, always contain the message that faith is the strongest weapon, the endless inspiration to overcome every adversity. Therefore, each time we hear those songs, each time we raise our voices in praise, we are being strengthened, inspired to continue on the thorny path of life. Let us reflect together. Have you ever felt as if everything had been lost, that not a single ray of hope remains in the darkness? But then, it is precisely in those moments of weakness that the call of faith resounds, like the promise that no darkness lasts forever, that every wound will be healed, that every step, however slow, leads to restoration. The promise of God is never empty, but is always present in every moment of life, like the prophecies from sacred texts, reminding us that the Lord never forsakes his people. Perhaps in the darkest hours, when all efforts seem futile, we must remember that it is faith that has helped so many stand firm through the storms. Those who have experienced hardship, from survivors of war to victims of natural disasters, have affirmed that as long as we do not give up our faith, as long as we remain steadfast, everything can change. Every time we decide to place our faith in God, every time we open our hearts to receive sincere prayers, we are creating miracles. We are writing our own story of restoration. In the modern context, when the fast pace of life makes us easily forget the value of spiritual things, this psalm serves as a sacred reminder that no matter how busy life gets, no matter how much we are preoccupied with material concerns, do not forget to take a moment to listen to your heart, to seek comfort in prayer, in the songs of praise to God. Those moments are not only a time of rest for the soul, but also when we are strengthened, inspired to face new challenges. Believe that every tear shed has meaning, that every pain is a precious lesson, and that in the end, only faith is the key that opens the door to restoration and joy. Looking back, the story of the restoration of the soul through the psalm is not just a story of a time past, but a testimony to the eternal power of faith and gratitude. Every time we feel as if we are being swept away by the current of difficulties, remember that there is a sacred call always resounding, reminding us that no matter how great the difficulties, the light of dawn always shines, and faith will help us overcome every limit. Whether you are facing loss, sorrow, or loneliness, remember that in every moment, God is always by your side, ready to support and guide you on the path to restoration. Finally, allow yourself to feel that no pain is in vain, no loss is permanent, and that with faith, everything can be rebuilt from the rubble. Every prayer, every supplication, every song of praise is not only a reminder of the presence of God, but also evidence of the power of faith, allowing people to turn pain into joy, sorrow into hope, and loss into restoration. Let this psalm inspire you, as the prophets and the apostles have passed down through the centuries, that although the night may be long, the dawn always comes, and as long as you hold on to your faith, all difficulties will pass, opening a new chapter filled with hope and life. If you feel the power and message in these sacred songs of praise, let your heart be illuminated. Let yourself know that although the world changes, steadfast faith will always be a safe harbor for the soul. And as the psalm says, faith never fades, and the light will always return. That is the promise of the Creator to all who trust in Him. Be brave in facing life. Let pain become the motivation to rise up and believe that no matter where you are, no matter how much you have lost, there is always hope for a brilliant new day. And thus, the journey to regain faith and restoration is not only a battle with external adversities, but also an inner journey, a process of self-healing of the soul through every prayer, every song of praise, and every moment of gratitude. Remember that when we place our faith in God, we are opening the door to miracles, we are turning pain into a lesson, and we are building a bright future from the very wounds of the past. As taught by the Bible and evidenced by the sacred texts, every person can find the strength to rise after every fall, to overcome challenges, and to be reborn from the fragments of themselves. That is the sacred lesson that the psalm conveys, and it is also the message that we need to remember in every moment of life. Let faith guide you through the storms of reality, and believe that, as long as you hold on to your faith, every new day will always bring restoration, comfort, and new joy. On this challenging journey, the story of those who have overcome sorrow and found the light again is an endless source of inspiration for us. Let the words of the psalm resonate in your soul like a whisper from heaven, reminding you that even though life is full of difficulties, faith and gratitude will always lead you to the dawn of joy and restoration. And finally, remember that pain is only temporary, and faith will forever be the lamp that lights the path of those who believe in the power of God. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please support us by liking, sharing, and inviting everyone to join our community by subscribing to our channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.